Only a few weeks later, I found myself standing at the railing on deck of a ship called the Liberty, gazing up at the moon and the stars. The moon was only a sliver and far from full that evening, but the stars were brilliant overhead. The vast emptiness of the sky over the ocean made me feel a bit lonely. I couldn't help wishing Asher or Wyatt were there with me to share this adventure. But Wyatt was happily engaged with his new Omega, and Asher had claimed he had too much work to do to be taking sea voyages. I was a little at a loss. I'd be happy to get back home and find some work of my own to do, but I was tired of being coddled and treated like an invalid. Still, this voyage did make a change of sorts. It wouldn't be long before I was back home in Morovia at the lodge, and this time with a new Omega to keep me company. I was due to be married only a few days after I returned. I left the rail to make a few turns around the deck, but it was growing later in the evening, and I decided I was getting too cold. I decided to go below, where it was much warmer and more pleasant out of the wind. My cabin was cozy, and someone had lit the hanging lantern in my room. I undressed quickly and climbed into my hammock. The easy sway of the ship soon put me to sleep, despite the discomfort of my leg, and the sound of the water on the sides of the ship was soothing. I came suddenly awake a short time later. The breath jolted out of my body, and the commotion around me not only felt, but hurt. There didn't seem to be any unusual wind and no heavy swell of the waves, so I couldn't figure out what was happening at first. I flung on my shirt, jammed my legs into my trousers, and remembered to grab my pistol before I rushed out on deck, still with bare feet. It was freezing on deck, and a loud crash came from not too far away. I saw with horror that it had been a cannonball crashing through the mainsail. We were under attack. Sailors were running everywhere with frantic haste, slinging buckets of water to try and put out various small fires and wet down the deck. One of the topsails had a bloom of orange, but a sailor flung himself courageously onto the yard with a dripping wet shirt to smother and beat at the flames. "Sail ho!" the lookout cried out from above, and I knew that meant the ship shooting cannonballs at us had been spotted close by. Then he cried, "Watch out for boarders!" And I rushed to the side to see what I could. Boarders could only mean one thing in these waters: pirates. The shouting and the confusion on board got even worse after that, as the sailors realized what was happening. The captain was at the great wheel of the ship, trying to put the ship about and bring her broadside to bear. Men were already hurrying to man the guns, but I saw with a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that they wouldn't be in time. "Stand by to repel boarders!" came the loud shout again from the boatswain, and I saw the first sign of the pirates who were attacking us.